It's a day early to drop the tweet cap, but there's been enough stories, a lot of craziness going on that we could talk all about it. We have another tweet cap here on the Productive Conversations podcast. So let us talk about the crazy things that happened in our world this week. And a day early, Ryan is here. Jose is here. What's up, gentlemen?
What's
How's it
up?
going, Matt?
Good. Very, very good. Happy to be here. So why don't we hop into it right away and let's do the second portion of this conversation, Aaron Rodgers versus Jimmy Kimmel. We talked last week about what he would have said a thrown away comment. Aaron Rodgers on Pat McAfee last week talking about the Epstein list and how Jimmy Kimmel is afraid. Well, the exact quote is, Jimmy Kimmel does not want that list to come out, making implications and assumptions that what was involved with the monster who does very bad things to children that starts with the P word, right? So Jimmy Kimmel responds earlier this week, goes on his show, and right away responds to Aaron Rodgers, first on Twitter and this time on his actual show. And he said things like, quote, either he actually believes my name is going to be on Epstein's list, which is insane, or a more likely scenario, he doesn't actually believe that. He just said it because he's mad at me for making fun of this topic and lies about being vaccinated. Jimmy declared on his show. And ultimately, adding on to that, he came at him for going to junior college, for having too many hits to the head. And he used words such as arrogant and ignorant and a hamster-brained man. Clearly, Jimmy Kimmel was not happy about what happened. Fast forward to Tuesday. Aaron Rodgers has his time to respond to Jimmy Kimmel. And Aaron Rodgers said things like, quote, I'm glad that Jimmy's not on the list. I really am. And I don't think that he's the P word. And you know what that means. And I think it's impressive that a man who went to Arizona State and has 10 joke writers can read off a prompter. Then he continued, I wish him the best again. I don't give a shit what he says about me. But as long as he understands what I actually said and that I am not accusing him of being on the list, that I'm all for moving forward. So Rodgers doesn't apologize, and Jimmy Kimmel has not responded since on his show. I've watched all his monologues, and it seems like this has ended for the most part. Pat McAfee criticized for not following up on Aaron Rodgers' comments. He did have some follow-ups during their discussion this week, and also to be noted, Pat McAfee said that Aaron Rodgers is no longer on the show for the rest of the NFL season. Reckon he was supposed to end his season of interviews this week anyways, but he wanted to make sure that everybody knows he's not coming back for the rest of the year. So a story that got ugly, a story that we could debate here and there, but it ends with no apology, and it seems both of these people are going to move on. Ryan, I want to start with you. What did you think about this?
I mean, incredibly disheartening that we didn't get an apology. I say we. I don't actually care. He didn't say anything about me. But I do think an apology was probably warranted, given he could say what he wants. The insinuation was clear. We're not going to go through it again. The insinuation was clear. Anyone who, whether they went to Arizona State, have 10 joke writers, went to a prep school, whatever, anyone who listened to it, that original comment knows what Aaron Rodgers meant. So the idea that he's going to just pretend that he didn't mean that now is silly. I don't know why he said it. I think honestly, more than an apology, I'd love to know like what was he thinking. And we don't know that either. And Jimmy Kimmel predicted that wouldn't be addressed. Like you said, either he believes it, which is crazy, or he just said it because who knows why. And I would be fascinated to know what was going through his head when he said that. But this was all fun games for this season since his leg was messed up. But next season, as a Jets fan, I'm gonna need Aaron Rodgers to shut up. Like I don't like the shut up and play football or shut up and dribble thing. I think athletes are prominent figures and they should be able to speak their mind. But speak their mind means something needs to be said. Not just because you can talk doesn't mean you should. Commenting on Jimmy Kimmel is not speaking your mind. That's being annoying. And the Jets have had a horrible season. I mean, better than I thought it was going to go, to be honest. But whatever. They need to refocus. He said himself, we need to get all the non-winning things out of the room. Aaron's the only non-winning thing in the room right now with this controversy with the Pat show. And so next season, this needs to be done. Fun experiment, whatever. I think it ended horribly, and I think they should cut it off and not worry about it going forward because it's not a good thing.
Jose, why don't you continue on?
I'm actually kind of glad that he didn't apologize. It makes me even bigger Aaron fan. Be honest with you.
Right.
I'm about to get me a jersey right now.
So why? What about?
He didn't say anything wrong.
Yes, he did. We're not going to go into what he said wrong, but he did. 100%.
He allured to it, but didn't say anything wrong.
It's the semantics argument.
No. Yeah, the semantics argument is absolutely
which I actually
ridiculous.
kind of agree with Jose, though. To be fair in what he said, I know it's all about the assumption, and it's not good to, and I understand the assumption, especially in this case, to compare him to somebody who does horrible things to children. But if we're going to technically go off of that, that's what's technically has to be done. And that's one of the things also with Rodgers said in his rant about the media spinning stories like this. He didn't technically say Jimmy Kimmel is a P word. He just said, I don't want it on the list. I'm just playing the devil's advocate on this.
I'm gonna jump in.
With a world with politicians doing this all the time.
Right. And we hate them.
Rodgers
and we hate them. And we hate them. So let's not be like, oh, well, other people do all that. We hate the people who do this. The actually kid in class is the most annoying kid in class. Everybody knows that from the age of like 7 years old onward. Actually, I didn't say that. We know. I heard what he said.
Exactly. And I understand that this is bad because of the person being discussed, but we have to figure out where are we going in the world of assumptions.
No, we don't have to figure it out. What you do is you don't imply something baselessly for absolutely no reason. Here's the thing.
But maybe he was worried about somebody on the list that he was close to. I don't know. That's the thing. And Rodgers went off this from a fake list and I would go talking about assumptions, but exactly with the David Bakhtiari thing that he saw that I've sent those lists to people like, oh, hey, look at this, but it was all hullabaloo. And I was wrong for that. And assumptions, we have to just figure out where we're going to go with assumptions.
Listen. I'm just going to end this real quick, my piece, and we'll move on. I get it. You and Jose and most of the people who are listening to this right now like to root for the little guy. Right? Aaron Rodgers is the independent person going up against the Disney, ABC, etc., right? The big corporations. And I get it. It's easy to cheer for the little guy because we don't like the big guy. And I don't like to be the one who defends the big guy because that's an almost impossible position. But at some point, the fragility of Aaron Rodgers and the people like Aaron Rodgers needs to be called out. Aaron Rodgers is a fragile man. And I don't mean physically. Obviously, he's physically very talented. He's a professional athlete, all that. I'm saying emotionally fragile. Aaron Rodgers, we're not going to relitigate it, got called out one time years ago. Not recently, years ago. And from that point forward, from that day forward, and not even everybody called him out. Only some people did. Other people didn't care. He said one thing wrong. People got mad at him online. And from that point forward, he's become an actual troll. He's been going on the Pat show. He's been using his social platform. He's become an actual troll. He's gotten further and further into derangement. And it all stems from that one time. That's fragility. When you have that much money and that much talent, to let a couple of people, even half the people on social media, dictate the rest of your life because now you've become a professional troll to make those people mad, that's just weak. That's weakness. And the idea that anyone is trying to just explain it away is silly. Let's just call it what it is. He's mad about something that happened 3 years ago, and from that point forward, he's been insufferable.
You're talking about the Jimmy Kimmel. Are you talking about the beef with their son?
No, not even. I'm talking.
Well, what's the story you're talking about? You have to be a little more specific.
Okay, well, I can't say certain words, but when
just say this word or this word.
Sure. When he gave his press conference about his status, right? And he lied. He did lie.
The immunization.
The immunization instead, right? When that happened, people got mad at him, and he had never been that way before. He had never had that happen to him before, and you could see it because he was a likable guy. He was doing all this stuff. Everyone liked Aaron Rodgers. He did one thing wrong, and people criticized him. They didn't stop liking him. They criticized him for one thing, and instead of just owning up and being like, well, listen, sorry, whatever, he went full troll. Now everything had to be anti this, anti that. Now he's debating this person. Now he's going on this podcast, calling out this person. That's when the Kimmel stuff originally started. And now it's continued forward. He's
right.
Weak.
And that's where you're right. It's where it started. And then Jimmy Kimmel talked about, he's got too many hits to the head, CTE.
Absolutely.
Now
I get you.
How come Jimmy Kimmel didn't call that? There have been players who committed suicide with CTE. That's not funny. You could say the same joke. I know I'm not doing the apples to oranges with the crimes and stuff.
You are though.
But no. But if you're going to call out fun, then you need to call everybody out who makes the littlest jokes on everything like that. Like,
no, there's one difference. Aaron Rodgers.
Okay, suicide, and then you don't want to compare suicide and then committing assault like that.
But he didn't. The joke wasn't about assault. But more importantly,
at that time it wasn't. But he was talking about CTE, which leads to suicide and mental health issues. We could do this all the time with this. If you want to play the semantics of that.
But Aaron Rodgers wasn't talking about some amorphous injury or
he literally did it. He literally didn't say the words, and he says it here. I'm not stupid enough to accuse someone of that with zero concrete evidence. That's ridiculous. That's where the semantics game is going in.
Right, but it's a game. It's semantics. It's fragile. It's weak. It is weak. And like I said, everyone in the comments too is going to defend the little guy against the big guy, and that's totally fine. Come at me. I don't care. There's a fact here, and the fact is that Rodgers, for the last 3 years, has been going more and more into this deranged rabbit hole, and it's been because someone was mean to him. It's because people were mean to him 3 years ago. If everyone had not said a word 3 years ago, or if he had just said sorry and moved on 3 years ago, like an adult would have, then we wouldn't be here today, because I think what he said was substantially bad. And I understand the semantics argument is probably going to keep Aaron out of a courtroom. And I guess that's fine. I'm happy for Aaron to keep all of his millions. But I think it's actually embarrassing, because the fact of the matter is everyone knows, everyone in this room right now, by the way, who's defending Aaron Rodgers, and everyone in the comments defending Aaron Rodgers, you know what he said. You know what he meant. Aaron knows what he meant. The whole world knows what he meant, and that's why it was reported that way. So we can pretend. Well, I'll play pretend with everybody, but we know what he meant.
You know what he meant, because, and he said, I just read you a quote that he said, we could say we know what he meant with the quote about, I'm not stupid enough to accuse someone without that kind of evidence. That's the thing. I know what it looks like, but
it's what it is.
No, but that's what it looks like. We're going off the assumptions again.
Yes. Sword of Damocles, right? Look it up. That's what this is. The simplest explanation. That's the right explanation. I'm not playing 6D chess with ayahuasca Rodgers. We know what
until he wins you a Super Bowl, then you're like, oh my God, bow down, take your bills, and stuff like that.
I hope he wins. I hope he wins a Super Bowl. And if he wins me a Super Bowl, guess what? He'll be a fragile quarterback who won me a Super Bowl. All of it can be true. I can separate wanting to win a Super Bowl and the fact that Aaron Rodgers is a troll. He can do both. He's a talented individual. He can do both. And I hope he does do both. But you will never hear me turn around and start defending the way Aaron Rodgers has been behaving. It will never happen. I'll put as much money on my life, whatever you want me to say, it will never happen.
Okay. Jose, what do you have?
You really think Aaron Rodgers is fragile?
Yes.
I don't think he's fragile at all.
His ego, yes. Is a fragile ego.
He stood his ground. That's not fragile at all.
His ground was accusing it. Sure, he did stand his ground.
You're assuming.
I'm not assuming. Everyone knows what he said.
He did just say it wasn't what he implied.
Pat McAfee went on the show the next day and apologized. Not a good apology, but an apology.
Yeah, because he doesn't want to get sued like Brett Favre is suing him. There's a big difference.
You don't apologize if you've done nothing wrong.
Because he's catering to the masses of Jimmy Kimmel. Didn't you just hear what I just said? He's getting sued because just earlier,
You
2023,
don't get sued if you don't do anything wrong.
He's getting sued by Brett Favre
If
for
you don't do anything
something
wrong, you can't get sued.
If
no,
he
that's true.
I'm gonna apologize if I don't know if I can get caught or not. I'm gonna just say if I wanted to. That's what I'm saying, Aaron Rodgers.
You only apologize when you say something wrong.
Listen,
that's a fact. You don't apologize if you've done nothing wrong. If you apologize for doing nothing wrong, your apology becomes evidence that they can use in court that you think you did something wrong. They can sue you off the apology. So if he apologizes because he knows he did something wrong and he needed to apologize to try and avoid a lawsuit.
But wait,
apologizing beforehand,
wrong already.
Legally more difficult.
Because you're apologizing, just because you're apologizing, you do know that Pat McAfee has a TV show. He doesn't want to get canceled now.
Right, so because he knows something cancelable happens.
So it's not because he's afraid of getting sued and crap.
But I'm saying just you don't apologize if you don't have anything to apologize for. It only makes more problems. That's all I got.
I'm gonna apologize if I'm making how much money from ABC, from Disney paying me to keep my show on there.
$85 million.
Okay, I apologize for $85 million. Aaron Rodgers, does he have to apologize? He ain't making jack crap probably. He's probably making way less.
$3 million a season,
Pat McAfee show, $3 million. All right.
Yeah, $3 million a season or something like that.
Do you think he gives a shit? Do you think he cares about $3 million, Aaron Rodgers? No. He's about to win the Jets a championship because of his headstrong attitude.
Yeah, okay. I hope he does. Doesn't change the fragility. That's all I got.
Can I say also, just in Pat McAfee's case with this, and then we can move on. Do we feel like, like I said, Pat McAfee has had, I feel like, one of the more difficult first years of a network like he has. A lot of people already felt he sold out from the start to go there. A lot of people criticized the move after ESPN laid off thousands of people, and this is what's happening. People have criticized. They're talking about his ratings aren't matching up, but Pat McAfee called out that guy Norby for messing up those numbers and trying to make him look bad and stuff like that. Ryan, you and I talked off the air about this, and seeing where Pat McAfee goes from here. What do you think is going to happen? And we're about to go into a busy playoff weekend. If you don't mind me saying, we talked about you hope maybe Pat doesn't do this one thing that he's known for.
Yeah, I do.
What do you think about there?
I told Matt that I'm disappointed in Pat. I think he could have handled it better. Obviously, he didn't say anything wrong. I want to make that clear since I just went off about Aaron Rodgers saying something wrong. Pat said nothing wrong initially, anyway. So my issue is not with Pat saying what he has said. I just think he could have handled it better. I did say that I thought he jumped way too quickly into the whole attack the big media thing. But in fairness, I'll say this, it worked. Because you guys are both very smart. You guys are both smart people. And Pat and Aaron collectively have convinced you guys that this is somehow ESPN and ABC, in my favor, NBC's fault somehow, even though they're not involved in this at all. And so you know what? Kudos to them. It worked because I know that's most of the people watching. So I'm disheartened. I had hoped he would own it a little bit more. Be like, listen, we can't platform that kind of nonsense. It was all, it's all make believe. It's all fiction. And it shouldn't have been said. I apologize. Move on. That's what I would have liked to have seen if it was my show. That's what I would have done. But it's not what he did. He jumped in. He joined Aaron with the media is trying to attack me. I don't know who Norby is. No one cares who Norby is. I will say this, though, just as a capping. I do hope he doesn't come to WrestleMania. I guess I didn't say that. I no longer consider myself a big fan of Pat McAfee, and previously I had been. But hopefully, this will all blow over as Aaron fades away and goes back to playing football. But I just wish that I could be the main character, the way that these folks, both Pat and Aaron and their loyal listeners, think that they're the main character. No one at ESPN is like, I must destroy Pat McAfee. They don't care. They just want to make quadrillions of dollars, buy as many big boats as they can. That's what they want to do. If Pat helps them do it, great. If Pat doesn't help them do it, also great. As long as they do it, they don't care. No one cares about these people enough to try and take them down. Not everything's a conspiracy. Not everything, we're not the main character. Sometimes we're just NPCs. We're living our life, doing our thing. And I think more people need to learn that. They won't. And I'm going to hear a rebuttal from Jose and Matt about why I'm wrong about this to prove that no one will learn that lesson. And that's okay. But hopefully someday everyone takes a deep breath and says, I'm just not the main character today. No, I'm just in the background today. Today's a me day. I get to live my life and not worry about the cabal of ESPN executives or the big medicine people who are trying to vaccinate me. I just don't have to worry about it. I can just be me today. That's my wish for everybody in 2024. Be the NPC for a day. It'll change your life. Truly.
It's just, isn't it funny how ESPN was criticized for the last, let's say, 5 years for being too political, and they get into just this again with people hiring people they thought we're going to help them get hip/cool, and it only turned into a miss.
But yeah, no, they do keep doing that, and they do seem like a bad place to work. I'm not defending ESPN as a place of work. I'm just saying I don't think that ESPN is at fault for the nonsense that's happening right now.
Mm-hmm. Oh, is there anything else with this before we move on?
What do you think is going to happen with the Pat McAfee show after his contract ends?
Which is supposed to be this year. Do you think a year from now will he still be on ESPN?
No.
Hell no.
No.
And he'll just go back. Either he'll have to find he'd go indie, or he'll need a sports book to sponsor them or something.
I think he'll go indie again. I don't think. Yeah, I don't think
I think ESPN needs to change their whole model. I mean, it's not the number one brand.
Oh, yeah, that's true. 100%.
So you already know that they're gonna Pat McAfee's gonna go his own separate way, and pretty much ESPN is gonna have to like rebrand itself and figure that whole thing out.
Stephen A's contract ends next year. Some people think he's going to leave, and Scott Van Pelt said he's leaving in 2025 as well.
Well, they'll make Stephen A the executive vice president of ESPN if they have to.
Yeah,
they won't let Stephen. He's the face of ESPN. They won't let him.
Yeah, they won't let him go.
He's probably the only face, especially as SVP said he's definitely leaving after 25. So
yeah, no, they're not letting Stephen A go. They're going to give him anything.
They're going to give him the Pat McAfee money.
Yeah, he'll be and then they'll make him CEO or president of ESPN if they have to.
Doesn't he have the Pat McAfee money already?
Yeah, on top.
Get more. I think he gets paid way more than him. I think he gets paid $10 million a year from ESPN.
Hey, something like that.
They're gonna throw all of the Pat money on top of what he currently gets paid.
They probably give Shannon Sharp his own show after that Cat Williams crap.
They might. Shannon Sharp's got quite the popular podcast.
Hey, man, as long as he's with DraftKings, though. Will they steal him from DraftKings? Well, I guess they stole Pat McAfee from FanDuel.
Matt, what do you think of, just spitballing before we move on to the next segment, the Nightcap, right? Mm-hmm. But as a late-night show. Like in the late-night slot on ESPN. Shannon Sharp's the host. Chad is like... So if Shannon's Conan, then
to be honest, no, because you have to do FCC violations and they break those all the time.
Okay.
So
yeah, fair enough.
I think unless it's uncensored, I don't think it'd be as authentic.
Gotcha. No, just curious. I thought that could be something. But I know late night's dying too. So jumping onto late night now would be silly. But
we have Taylor Tomlinson starting her show this week, and nobody knows about it. She's taking over Jimmy Kimmel, except me and Ryan.
Not Jimmy Kimmel, James Corden rather.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. She's taking James Corden's spot.
I didn't even know that they replaced James Corden.
Yeah, exactly. No, funny you say that too, because I was listening to the radio and it's like, what did James Corden's name was brought up, and they didn't realize he was not there too. So I hope Taylor Tomlinson,
quitting.
Me and Ryan's age, figures it out. But that's gonna.
She's funny on stand up. She's funny. I've seen the stand up. I do find her funny. So. Hopefully,
so we'll see. Her show literally debuts next week, and I haven't seen any advertising or anything. But as you mentioned, though, as with the Rodgers and Kimmel feud ending, we will end our coverage of this for now. So why don't we now switch to the Golden Globes? Did you guys happen to see any clips with it this week? We had host Joe Coy come on, and he had, let's say, mixed reviews at least. No, I'm just kidding. No,
they weren't mixed.
Was very bad. He was a very bad host. His monologue fell flat. The room was awkward. People did not like what he was saying, which also includes the queen of the world, Taylor Swift. Joe Coy had, during his monologue, he blamed his writers for the bad monologue. He blamed the writers for bad jokes. He even tried and say a joke to Taylor Swift, which included, quote, okay, here we go. Now I have it. It seems this was the nail in the coffin for Joe Coy when he said, quote, the big difference between the Golden Globes and the NFL, the Golden Globes have fewer shots of Taylor Swift. It painted Taylor Swift and she was not having it. And I think that was pretty much the end of his night. So Joe Coy's hosting duties, what do you give it, an A to F?
I'll say you first if you saw it.
To be honest, I always disliked it. Joe Coy, whatever his name is. I never liked any of his stand-up. So, but I try to have I'm biased, and I.
How old are you, Jose? Do you mind me asking?
39.
Okay, that's all. It comes into play later. Continue.
So I give it about like a D minus. I mean, he had like one joke that made me laugh, but other than that, nothing really hit for me.
Yeah, I think you failed. I think you failed pretty spectacularly. My thing is, and I was telling Matt this because Matt, if I'm remembering, you didn't know who Joe Coy was before this.
No, I didn't.
So
I also say here, to be fair for Joe Coy, and he said the defense too. He was only hired in a week and a half before the show started.
So I'm gonna bring that up. So we're 10 years apart, Jose, and I think this is why. So in 2007, 2008 period, I was like 13, 14 years old. That was when Joe Coy kind of started to blow up a little bit on Comedy Central. He had his first big stand-up release. I loved Joe Coy. I found him so freaking funny. I watched his clips. I used to be able to recite his jokes. I actually told a joke to Matt that I, again, couldn't find on YouTube because it was so old and so bad that they didn't have a clip of it. I just had to type it out to Matt, this joke that I remember from Joe Coy. But I was 13 years old. I was a 13-year-old boy. Joe Coy's comedy is like geared toward 13-year-old boys. It is adolescent. It is juvenile. It is a little bit gross, a little bit raunchy, but like not even in like the fun raunchy way, but in like the teenage boys talking at a sleepover raunchy way. And you can't give, and I don't believe he's changed a bit from 2007 to now. I think the stand-up's been roughly the same. You can't give a guy whose best joke involves like his mom or like, all these other like, juvenile things a week to prepare for the Golden Globes. Again, poor Crafton blames his tools. He should not have called out the writers. I think that was really classless. I actually really do think that was classless.
I agree with you.
But at the same time, Joe Coy making jokes about, Barbie's anatomy is like the most Joe Coy thing I can possibly think of right now. If Matt said to me the week before, Joe Coy is hosting the Golden Globes, what's the first joke he's going to say? I absolutely would have said he's going to make a joke about Barbie. First thing I would have said, because it's literally his deal. And so I don't understand how he got the gig. Like, he's just not, that's not his crowd. He plays to kids, like teenage boys, not even kids, teenage boys. The stuff that teenage boys find funny, things I found funny in 2007, they're not funny. They're gross. That's Joe Coy. I don't know. He was bad, F, 100%, but whoever found him and said, this guy can host, I think that person gets an F too.
Well, I mean, that makes sense. Joe Coy, like 2008, 2009, like 2010, around that era, that's probably was his most popular.
Right.
It was around that era, so I totally get why you fanboyed him for that.
Right. As a 13-year-old, yeah.
Be honest, when they said Joe Coy was going to be I thought he died years ago. I didn't even think he's still alive.
You think a lot of people die, Jose.
I'm just saying, Joe, I didn't even... nobody has never in the last 5 years of my life has mentioned, hey, you've seen Joy Coy lately?
He had a
Nobody.
stand-up. He had a Netflix special.
Get it? But the
Like 2
last
years
time I
ago,
heard
yeah.
the last time I heard him, I heard about him. It wasn't for a stand-up. It was him dating Chelsea Handler.
Yeah.
And him getting dumped by her. But
no, yeah, I agree with Jose. He had no real funny jokes. I also think that whoever hired him gets an F too. It was a shared F in that respect.
I wouldn't give him because from what they said that they asked many people, it wasn't like Joey Coy was their first pick. Now,
well, I know, but
he's like their 13th.
I heard they approached a lot of people and they just declined. They don't want to do that room in front of those A-list celebrities, especially in front of people who
laugh.
Maybe
in fairness. No, I mean, Joe Coy wasn't
like,
funny, but they don't laugh even
to host. It seems all hosts, you have to. It's a roast essentially.
Yeah, and they don't.
No one's really that clever.
Don't laugh. Yeah.
Exactly. So
don't like roasts.
You don't want to get bombed. Literally, the worst case scenario for a comedian happened to Joe Coy. I know he's going about his life, but
he earned it. I don't think it was just because the room doesn't laugh. The room doesn't laugh. You could get the room not to hate you. Like that would still be a win. He couldn't do that either. So
it's like roasting people in the most sensitive room in the world.
Exactly. That's
trying to roast them.
Emotions are high that day, and then you're just
the best for like comedians. I think that would have helped them more if he went for some comedians instead.
They should have begged what's the name to come back.
Ricky Gervais.
Yes,
but he offended all of them. He didn't bother. Yeah, he actually won the stand-up comedy. He won the first ever stand-up comedy special Golden Globe, and he didn't bother to show up.
That's what's amazing about it. He don't give a crap. That's what made it so freaking great. Like,
yeah, exactly.
All the jokes are crazy.
So that's why you wind up in Austin, Texas after that. Usually,
yes.
The best joke though, you got to do what Letterman did when he hosted the Oscars. He just goes Oprah, Uma, Oprah, Uma. You don't have no roast. Just be it observant and look what happened. That's why we love David Letterman. So why don't we continue with the Oscars, right? Sorry, we could continue with the awards season related content, which we will have for the next couple of months. So the award season is officially begun for movies, for those who actually care. But here's the thing, right? This was an amazing year for movies. It might have helped with the strike to have all these powerful movies to be released at once. And amongst that, we have a very competitive race for the best actor Oscar race. The best actor Oscar race has begun. Golden Globes kicks that off, and that's what symbolizes the Golden Globes is the kickoff to the award season, right? So I think it's fair to say that Cillian Murphy is your favorite to win Best Actor this year, or his Best Male Actor, right?
Yeah. Plays
Oppenheimer. Some people who are making a push include like Paul Giamatti for The Holdovers. You have Jeffrey Wright in American Fiction, Leonardo DiCaprio in Killers of the Flower Moon.
He just got snubbed.
Yeah, he just got snubbed for the SAG Awards.
Yeah, for the SAGs, yeah.
So, but here's the thing, right? Bradley Cooper, I think he's one of the most talented people in Hollywood now. He released Maestro at the end of last year, and he both directed it and starred in it. I've seen Maestro. I think Maestro as a movie is very good, not great. But I do think Bradley Cooper and Carey Mulligan were out of this world, especially him. And Bradley Cooper clearly went very hard in this film to get some recognition, as some people think. And some people really feel he wants this Oscar. He's been nominated for 9 Oscars and hasn't won once. He was just nominated for SAG and he lost the Golden Globe. Now, a lot of people on the internet feel that Bradley Cooper may have gone far as trying a little too hard to get this Oscar. Again, whatever that means. So we've seen a lot of memes towards Bradley Cooper being a try-hard, for lack of a better word, to win this Oscar. He spent 6 years to train for this role as Leonard Bernstein in Maestro. He's done a lot of press. He's done a lot of the Academy circuit. and it seems he really wants to win. We won't get a direct answer how bad you want this Oscar, but it seems a lot of people assume that he really wants this very, very badly for whatever reason. And there's this picture. Once he found out that he wasn't going to win Best Actor, I'm showing Jose and Ryan on screen. Some people think he was visibly upset about this. And this might be an award season where he might come up short. Stranger things have happened. Of course, there are surprises during the Oscar wins itself. You can see as things go by in the award seasons who is winning a bunch of stuff, but the Academy voters vote on their own. But ultimately, Bradley Cooper seems to be the butt of many jokes for not winning a major award so far. And that's what the next couple months will be. How is Bradley Cooper going to react to Cillian Murphy probably winning a bunch of acting awards? Like, why is this even a thing, guys? Why do people care that much? Why can't you just let Bradley Cooper do him? And who cares if he really wants to win this Oscar? He's a talented actor. He's a talented director. And I think from what I've seen, he seems like a truly genuine person. I don't understand the hate or why people are clowning Bradley Cooper if he really wanted to get this recognition.
So my thing is, we saw that picture, right? The one of Bradley Cooper when Cillian Murphy won. He looked less upset than like Taylor Swift, Selena Gomez, or Greta Gerwig did during the monologue. Like, people were just in a bad mood that night. I don't think that picture means anything to me. I mean, sure, he is bummed, but I don't think that picture means anything. But this goes to something we talked about last week when Cat Williams brought the accusation that people were industry plants because they were successful. Yeah, obviously he wants to win. Who wouldn't? You're at the top of your game. That's how you get like acknowledged as being at the top of your game. Why wouldn't you want the Oscar? I don't understand the trying too hard thing. Like, what does that mean?
Yeah, I need people to comment why that's a problem. Nothing.
Yeah, that's the Bradley Cooper hate for trying online and stuff. It's insane.
I guess people just don't see as genuine. They don't see the art of the film. But who cares?
Like, genuine. He wants to win the award. He genuinely wants to win the award. That's the genuine.
Right. We want him to do Hangover 4.
Well, he can do that when he wins.
Rocket Raccoon.
Right. We don't need him to do any Maestro or anything like that.
Once he wins,
we need Hangover 4, 5, and Rocket Raccoon in the solo movie.
Right.
All right.
And he'll do all of those when he gets his reward. He wants the reward so he can go back to being the raccoon.
Well, he picked the wrong year to do it.
He picked
the worst year to do it.
Which is crazy. How many, the actor strike, this is one of the best years for movies. But I don't know. I think the hate for Bradley Cooper is crazy. I mean, I thought Oppenheimer is great. I've seen it. Tomorrow, actually, I'm seeing Maestro. So I can guess I'll compare directly. But shout out to Zac Efron, who did not get nominated for being Kevin Von Erich. Poor guy. I don't think
one thing. A lot of people are upset. They feel that he's getting snubbed for this.
He just got his star though on the Walk of Fame. So
January 23rd, an infamous day. This year, if you know what I'm talking about, Ryan and Jose. January 23rd, which is a week from Thursdays, when the nominations will actually be released for the Oscars, that is. And we all agreed we are going hard this Oscar season to make Oscar content. And it'll be easier, especially when the nominations come out. But some people feel, I don't like, one of the things people were joking and I sent you was like, how come Zac Efron's not getting recognized, but this guy who's going so hard, training 6 years for a 6-minute scene, like, this is just an example of people having too much time in their hand.
Do you believe that with like Zac Efron though, like he hasn't came with anything Oscar worthy ever besides this one movie? Do you think?
But what about Charlie St. Cloud?
Yeah.
Yeah, but what has he made? I didn't see him do a High School Musical type of movie. Like he wasn't known for that, or the Baywatch movie, or something.
Right, yeah.
Like
He's been a
Okay.
comedy guy.
what
Like
is
more dramatic roles to express your acting range, with the exception of, have you seen him play Ted Bundy? Not that it was an Oscar-worthy performance, but he
I
did
did,
really
no?
yeah.
well with that.
I did. He did go well.
So
Yeah.
I guess it's like you're kind of like with Zac Efron. It's like your first impression of him is cookie
We're,
cutter.
we're all in this
Ain't
together.
yeah.
Yeah, Matt
So
clapped. No, I mean, I wasn't saying he was gonna get nominated. It would have been cool though. I think he deserved it from what I saw. But I'm just gonna say for the people who are like worked too hard for this movie, you must be horrible employees. If you tweet out you worked too hard for your job, okay, that's fine. Just keep that up. So if someone's ever hiring you, they could read that and be like, okay, this person clearly doesn't think hard work is a good idea. The idea that he's working too hard is silly. He's working as hard as he feels he needs to make a good movie, and he wants to win an Oscar because it proves he did a good job. That's simple.
Ryan, the saying goes, work smarter, not harder,
You could do both.
brother.
All right. Why don't we now switch it up? Let's take a quick break from the Hollywood stuff. And I want to talk about what you guys saw last week on Twitter. And you saw that clip of a man in Alabama who decided to jump naked into a massive aquarium at Bass Pro Shop in Leeds, Alabama. He told the police he was on drugs.
Yeah.
He also damaged the police SUV. And he showed that there wasn't a lot going on down there, if you know what I mean, as well. Guys, what do you think about this nut job?
Yeah, I was about to say.
I mean, obviously he was on drugs, but
he may have damaged the
Come
police
on.
SUV, but we know what part of the body didn't do any of the damage. If you look like that, and I'll just leave it there, don't get naked in public and jump into a pool. Don't do it. I don't care how many drugs you're on. Know your body, know yourself, and say, as soon as my pants come off, this is going to be really embarrassing. And don't do it. That's just my 2 cents on that. It was funny though, and he seemed really excited. So I suppose good for him. He also fell out of the tank, which is very funny, and they slid him across the floor like a seal, which I thought was really funny. So there was a lot of really funny parts of the video. Definitely check it out if you haven't seen it. But yeah, I don't care how many drugs you've been on. You know what you're working with, and you know whatever you're working with is divided by whatever because of the cold water of the like Cabela's aquarium or whatever, Bass Pro Shop. Just don't do it. Keep your clothes on, or at least boxers. Come on, don't do that. You were asking for it, Mr. Alabama, asking for it.
Man, do you think this
Maybe
group?
Oh, go ahead,
Jose.
Maybe he's just trying to impress the ladies at Bass Pro Shop.
What's he gonna impress him with?
That he has this uncanny for love the dangerous, getting into the water with some fishes with his little penis.
I mean, I guess I don't know, man. I think if you've got, again, we've already said it a million times. It's comically small. It's comically done. Everything is funny about the video. Definitely watch it. But I can't see myself ever being so out of my faculties that I would find that a good idea anyway. And if I knew that that's what was going to happen when I went into the water and everyone started filming, like that's what they were going to see, I definitely wouldn't do that. So
Maybe,
I don't know.
In his defense, I mean, I haven't seen his penis or anything like that. Maybe he's a grower
no one
and
has.
not a shower.
No one has, Jose. That's the issue.
Oh, maybe he's a grower and not a shower.
It's possible. That's what people are speculating, but we'll never know.
All I know is I wouldn't want my 15 minutes of fame to be that.
Right. There's better ways. You can yell on an airplane to get your 15 minutes. Shout out to Tiffany. That's far more effective.
2024, Ryan. We don't care about her anymore.
Oh, we'll always care about our girl Tiffany.
Oh man. Okay, why don't now we talk about these tunnels that were in Crown Heights, Brooklyn, where a group of men belonging to the Hasidic Jewish community in New York were arrested on Monday amid a dispute over an illegal tunnel secretly dug into the side of a historic synagogue. All right, guys, 9 people were arrested amongst this. There was some blood apparently found in these tunnels. Something's up with these tunnels, don't you think? All I'm saying, just going by the facts.
Okay, Joe. No, I don't think there's anything bad. I mean, obviously the tunnel existing is bad because they broke into a synagogue. So yes, there's something wrong with the tunnels. They broke into a synagogue, but no, the I won't call them what I want to call them for assume good faith for everybody listening. But some of the theories being posited online, you should really think about what you're liking and what you're saying because you sound a certain type of way. There's a lot larger story to it. You should definitely look into it. This has actually been like a feud going on for years now. Like since 2004, it involves like a group of people who think this person who passed on is not passed on, is the Messiah. And it's about ownership of the synagogue. Like there's a whole backstory to this thing. And it just happened to like catch fire in 2024 when this tunnel was discovered. But I want to just take this time to I don't remember the guy's name, but there's a Twitter account or an X account rather, who has chronicled the construction of this tunnel unknowingly since November. He pointed out that he really did truly believe that there are people under his home, and he was on the first floor, or like he was on the ground floor, so he didn't know how that could be. At one point, now I was reading those. I read all of them after you sent them to me, Matt. I'm starting to think he was in on it. Like he knew for sure. Because
my favorite part was he wrote, "You all owe me an apology."
Yeah, there's no way that I mean, I say no way. I don't know. I wasn't there. It's just the idea that these people would be digging a tunnel speaking Yiddish to one another.
Oh man, we gotta pause Ryan really quick.
But that's what he claims. He claims that he heard people under his house speaking Yiddish.
All right, you're back. You're back now.
My back.
Jose, you think there's something suspicious here going on?
Of course, there's something suspicious going on. You have 9 men, but it has nothing else to do with their lives but build a dumb tunnel.
That's true. That's suspicious. Why aren't they working? I agree with that.
Exactly. You got so much time in your head that you can build a tunnel. Something's kind of wrong.
Remember when you wanted to, when you're a kid, you wanted to like dig a hole to the other side of the world?
Yeah,
like at the beach. That's what they did.
30 minutes later, I'm like, all right, I got something else to do.
Yeah, but they didn't. That's the crazy. At 4 years old, you had more to do than all of these people did.
Right. I bet they had shifts and everything, like time shifts.
They probably did. They probably came back out and the next crew came in and took it from there. That's exactly what happened, I would bet. As for the blood mat, I mean, who knows what they were digging with? They probably just cut themselves open.
Or is that what they want you to believe?
No, it's probably what happened. And like I said, that's all.
Do you think so, Jose, too?
What?
The blood on the
Matt's insinuating some bad things. Do you think bad things?
I'm just saying the facts. That's all I'm saying.
If you're gonna do something in that tunnel, what was the whole plan of the dumb tunnel?
To get into the synagogue. That was what the tunnel was for.
You couldn't just knock on the door?
Because they lost ownership of it. They used to own the building and now they don't. And so they wanted to get in without the owners knowing. So they built the tunnel. That's what happened. That's what happened. They lost ownership of the building and they couldn't get it back. So they tried to break into the building with a tunnel. It's very like Wile E. Coyote Roadrunner. They're like, how do I get in? And they built a tunnel.
Jeez. Let's move on now. 2 stories. I have 3 quick sports stories here. Let's start with another ridiculous one. This is just something that was hilarious. It was just hilarious to see what happened here, right? Antonio Brown, right? You know him. Yeah, Antonio Brown, what did he do this time? Antonio Brown, before he was hitting the head a little too hard, was honestly one of the best wide receivers to ever play the game.
Sorry, continue.
Hey, I was just saying, ever since
made
that
a CTE
Vontaze
joke, you got really mad at Jimmy.
I didn't say that. I'm just saying.
You got really
know
mad
what
at
I mean
Jimmy
by
a couple
that.
hours ago.
I'm just saying.
Continue.
I'm just saying. Again, we're gonna play the semantics game. Didn't say anything there.
I know what you didn't say.
Antonio Brown has been gone off the deep end since amongst a lot of injuries in his career. Very controversial 100%. Career.
100%.
Right? So he goes on Twitter today on Wednesday, and he has, quote, this is his quote, his girl want me in her uterus. He says, F it, I'm rich. Let's do it. With a picture of a lady with a pregnancy test and FaceTiming Antonio Brown, which he screenshot and letting people know that he's going to have his 7th child. Congratulations, Antonio Brown. Is what I have to say, but I mean, look at his face. Do you really think I have a picture here? Do you really think he's in? I'm showing Ryan and Jose. You think he's into this idea? But he said, "F it, I'm rich." So that is his motivation to raise a child, to give the life of a boy or girl, and he'll just say, "You know what? I'm rich." That's it.
Raise is a really strong word, Matt. I don't know how much of the raising will be done by Antonio Brown.
Did this girl here say, you know, yeah, getting a paycheck and a baby every month, getting some child support every month?
Possible. It's possible.
I mean, geez, like
he is rich, as he pointed out, so it's possible.
I mean, what are we doing here? Celebrating this kind of thing? Like, come on.
Is someone celebrating it though? I've only seen people negative on this. I haven't seen anyone I've never seen anyone congratulate him, actually.
How does this woman show her parents this? Like, look at what my baby daddy is tweeting like this. How ridiculous.
I'm congratulating her.
Did you?
Because she knows she's going to be a 1%er from this in child support.
No, I'm going to say this as nicely as I possibly can. I'm glad that she's about to be pregnant, that she's pregnant, and she got that, but didn't catch anything else, because this is Antonio Brown. He probably been with hundreds of women and could have hundreds of women. You don't know what he been catching.
That's a fair point.
Only for her to get pregnant, and that's it. I congratulate you.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's congratulating Antonio Brown on this, Matt. So I'm not sure we're celebrating it, but
one of the troll NFL crowds they said congratulations, but I know what you mean.
Yeah, but I will say that ready or not, 7th kid is on the way. So there's that.
Isn't that really that big of a deal if you compare Antonio Brown to Nick Cannon?
No, that's true. If Nick Cannon is Nick Cannon's your benchmark, he's only halfway there, right?
Yeah, Nick Cannon got like 12, 14 kids or some crap, and he ain't stopping.
He's also said, I don't remember some of my kids' names. So, no, I mean, I hope I'm lucky enough to be a father in this world someday. And I will take that very seriously and understand the responsibility you have when raising a kid for the first 18 years of their life. Even if I'm lucky enough to be very rich, I won't be just sharing my offspring like that just because.
I agree. It definitely not a good look for this kid's future. The PTA meetings or whatever are not going to have any representatives. Let's just put it that way. The parent-teacher conference.
Are there people out there just trying to have babies with professional athletes?
Yes.
Like that's their goal?
Probably. Yeah.
Well, we need to find one of those people and interview them and saying, don't you understand the responsibility part about this? When the child is having a bad day and they need their father or mother, and one of them's not in the picture because he just wanted to cash in a paycheck and just wanted to go viral or make it trendy. What do you think about those people?
At TTCap or Productive Conversations, let us know if your goal has always been to sire offspring with a professional athlete. We want to ask you what your thought process was and how it's going. So
and that'll be the day. Now let's talk about other stupid things. Like, hear this, guys. The NFL playoffs are this weekend. They kick off Super Wild Card weekend. Here from the New York Post. For the first time, an NFL playoff game will air exclusively on a streaming platform. Outside of Kansas City and Miami markets, where fans can watch their local NBC affiliates, NBC Universal and the NFL struck a one-year deal last year worth around $110 million for Peacock to get the exclusive rights to the Saturday night wildcard game. And you know what that game's going to be? Patrick Mahomes and the Miami That game is going to be Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs taking on Tyreek Hill and the Miami Dolphins. You must subscribe to Peacock. You must pay $5.99 a month. There is no free trial. You must pay $6 to watch this game. And let me start this rant of this disgraceful move that the NFL is doing. They print money like it's nobody's business. $110 million to them, I won't say it's minuscule, but like from the fines alone, the ridiculous fines you fine these players for dumb things, they can make up that much money. The NFL doing this and forcing people to pay for the NFL is an absolute disgrace for charging people to watch a playoff game. The playoffs are special. They only happen once a year. And the fact that you are charging them shows how greedy and heinous the minds of those NFL executives are. What a horrible thing they are doing to their fans. And no, for people who are in our age gap, we can figure it out. And some of us have Peacock by default. But for those people who are elderly, for those people who have a hard time figuring out technology, and also the small businesses, all those local bars who have to pay extra for this, you are screwing a lot of people for something you didn't need. You knew by default that you were going to have as much as 40 million people watch this game, and you're going to spin it on how this is a good thing. You should be ashamed of yourself, the NFL, for doing this. Absolute disgrace. What a joke.
Really?
Yeah, really.
All right, Jose,
is that you're blaming the NFL, but is that really the NFL's fault?
Yes, they agreed to this. They didn't have to agree to this.
No, NBC is the one that is like, hey, let me cut you a check for this.
They don't have to do that, though. They don't have to do that.
If I'm the NFL,
okay, suit Jose. You agree with this?
NBC comes to me and be like, hey, let me give you $100 million.
They say no, they didn't have to do that. Think about the fans. And I hope there is so much backlash. And I hope they have the worst retention rate and subscribers of all time unless they want to watch the holdovers or Saturday Night Live repeats, or they want to watch the WWE Network and want to watch the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, they do.
There is a huge, look at the graph and you just see it plummet for those people who paid those $6 to avoid missing this game.
So I'm gonna hop
stupid.
in. I'm gonna hop in here. I don't know if I'd use the same words that Matt used with heinous and all that, because I see Jose's point. If you get a lot of money, it is a business at the end of the day. Welcome to defending big business, Jose. We have T-shirts. Welcome. They're on their way.
Awesome.
We'll sell them in the merch store when we get that stuff. But no, I will say this though. They're not going to get 40 million people to watch Peacock. They're not. The viewership of this game is going to be the lowest of the wild card round. That's just factually. Not enough people have Peacock. You know what I mean? And like it's an interesting experiment, and I get they probably can't do it in the regular season because there's too many other games on. So you can never really try it out. You need to do it in the playoffs when there's less competition amongst your other teams. But I feel like this really should have been an earlier in the season experiment. I get why they picked the teams they picked. These are two of the bigger teams.
Well, this was going to be the game. This was going to be the game either way, so it worked out this way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I see what you mean.
But this game in particular probably has the best chance of doing okay because they're passionate fan bases, they're good teams. But the idea that this is going to do the numbers it would have done on NBC or any television channel is silly. It won't. So I don't necessarily know what the calculus is there. I know what it is for the NFL. They get a big old check and then doesn't matter how many people watch. But if NBC thought that this was going to get them subscribers. I don't see how. Like, if you've got nothing else to watch on NBC, you're just going to skip this game and then watch the next game when it's not on Peacock. Like, this doesn't, I don't see the math here, and I'm not an executive here, so I don't know, but I don't see the strategy for NBC here. I think this was a huge mistake for NBC to put this streaming exclusive on the playoffs.
Oh my God, I think this guys.
Should have been, no, seriously, for NBC. I'm not talking to
All
NFL.
right, Jose, when you pay for the Super Bowl in 10 years at $100 a month,
you gotta
be happy.
You got to look at NBC for a second. Their point of view,
because they need as much help as possible.
No, Jose, seriously, what is the angle? Because I get it for the NFL. You get a huge pay from NBC to put it on Peacock.
Yeah, they get paid, correct. But NBC in their quarterlies, they pull their numbers up.
I don't think the numbers are going to go up that high.
It's going to go high.
You think people are going to pay $6 to watch the game?
Who cares? It's not $6 just for the game.
$6 is a lot of money in America. That's more than gas.
$6.
No, I mean, $6 is not a lot of money, but for one game, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, but you're not just getting one game. You're getting other stuff with the game.
But for me, not everybody's going to go watch, Buffy the Vampire repeats.
Right. Like, I watch the WWE on NBC. I watch it. I watch every PLA. So, like, for me, yeah, it's fine. But if you have nothing else you want to watch, I don't know. I don't think I'm agreeing with you. If that's what's happening, Jose, I just don't know that's what will happen.
Let me ask you a question. Do you not think they're testing this theory out for a reason?
Of course.
Oh, they are, but I think
you are going to pay for the Super Bowl in the next decade. And Jose, when it's $100 a month, I would say, serves you right, Jose.
No, but what I'm saying is, all right, we can both, like, not to get into wrestling. We already established that the theory is WWE is going to Amazon, correct? That's the theory.
It's a rumor, but it's not confirmed.
Correct. So you assume, even though I can see everything WWE, they're going to lose a chunk of their subscriber base once Peacock lose WWE, and probably will go to Amazon. Correct?
Sure.
So it's a theory they're trying and seeing if Peacock, can somehow keep my numbers at a steady number if I do this theory of getting NFL games. And how much would it base and how much the subscriber numbers go up or down, so on, just in case, because you're going to take a hit.
Right. I think they should have tried it. Personally, I think it would have made more sense to try it a couple times during the season, because one game in the playoffs is not going to prove
I think that's wrong, because one game in the middle of the season doesn't prove it doesn't work, because one game in the middle of the season.
But 3 does.
And they also charge people to watch Thursday night football too, but usually people don't care about that. So
yeah, because they already got Amazon.
Yeah.
And it's also just shown that, most of those games are of low quality either. So
yeah, the Thursday night games were not high.
Yeah, but Peacock gets the Sunday night games.
Yeah, but they on NBC too. You get that on free TV.
Correct, but I mean, you ain't making a big deal about it.
Throughout the season, they should have, in my opinion, put a couple of those games behind the paywall on Peacock and see how it did. Because unless they have a football library, it won't replace the WWE fan base leaving. They need to create like a consistent structure for people to go to Peacock. One game in the playoffs, like out of nowhere, I don't think that will do what they need it to do. So that again, my thought is I don't see the strategy here for NBC. I get what you're saying. I just don't see it playing out that way. If it does, then they'll have done it great. But for the NFL, I mean, yeah, this is no brainer. Take a bunch of money and then don't worry about it. Doesn't matter who watches. You got your money.
Anyways, we are going to see how this all unfolds. And I'm sure they're going to spin this on how it was a good thing, and everybody will know it's phony. So, again, when all get charged for the Super Bowl, when it's on pay-per-view for $100 a month, for $100 for this one game, that's what you get. Yes, Jose?
Matt, do you have Peacock?
Yes, I have Peacock by default, but I'm not worrying about me. I'm not worrying about me, and I said it from the start. This is for the people who are out of the market, for the people who have a hard time figuring it out. I'm not worrying about me. I'm standing up for the little person.
Thank you, Matt.
So
Yeah.
when we
I
have
love Peacock too, but thank you, Matt.
when we have Margaret, who is a lifetime Chiefs fan and can't watch the game because people like Jose thought it was cool to pay for the game. Serves that right. And then that people, I love small businesses. Anything we can do to keep the small business alive. Here you go. $6.99 to pay for this game. Oh, and I think it's for every single TV in there.
Margaret's a big time Chiefs fan, you said?
Whoever it is.
Margaret's fictional character.
Oh, yeah. Well, tell Margaret, the fictional character, if she's that big of a fan and she can't pass over $6 to watch the game.
Nah, they can't because her Social Security has been decreased so much. She's having a hard time. She has to pick between the game.
You know what? She could have got a paper route for all I care to get that $6.
Or her inflaming arthritis, thanks to whatever could have helped them, could get him out of the house.
And then she got asbestos in the coal mine.
Exactly. Anyways, let me tell
Buffalo Wild Wings.
There you go.
Well, how about those businesses? You have to charge all those extra TVs now to pay.
It's one TV.
One TV.
It's one service.
You're not gonna put every TV on the Dolphins game unless you're in Miami, which it's on for free TV in Miami.
I'm glad everybody's okay with this.
I'm not okay with it. Free is better for
you
fans,
also you think congestion pricing is okay too. And
I don't
then $12 sandwiches.
I just
you're wrong. I'm thinking for me and only me. I already paid $6 a month. They already take my $6.
And guess what? They're gonna double it just because.
Whatever. Shout out to future world heavyweight champion Jinder Mahal. You can watch him on Peacock.
Yeah.
Man, when did that happen? All right, we might save that for questions. One more story, and then we're gonna move on. And let me say this: whoever this reporter is, be glad I don't know your name, because you literally asked the dumbest thing I've ever heard a beat reporter ask an athlete. All right, New York Giants, right? Disappointing season. Daniel Jones gets hurt, tears his ACL against the Raiders in the middle of the season. There's all these rumors. Giants are picking 6 in the draft that maybe the Giants draft a quarterback. Daniel Jones is already on a walk year in his current contract. There's a team option to opt him out after 2024. So how can you tell me there is some reporter who asked to Daniel Jones' face, should the Giants draft another quarterback? Oh my God, I can't swear. How do you have the audacity to ask the current starting quarterback that? And he laughed it off in the rare times I've seen Daniel Jones actually laugh. But I'm like, for the people who go to journalism schools and pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to get the degree, and you see this numbnut ask that stupid question again.
Right, what's wrong?
It's headlines.
What's wrong with that question?
Because that's stupid. That's a stupid question. Why would you ask the starting quarterback, should they draft another quarterback?
Should they replace you?
Exactly. Use your head, people. Use your noodle.
Is it not known that he's going to be replaced?
Maybe, maybe not. The Giants owe him a lot of money.
Maybe not.
He's playing this year. He's getting paid $40 million to be your starting quarterback next year. You know what? I will say and admit, and this is the part I want to make this clear. It's like if I'm in the early stages of dating, very early stages, and I know a girl I'm seeing is seeing other guys. You don't need to know the information, too much information. So having said that, it would be smart for the Giants, though I don't think the first round, I think second round, they should draft a quarterback. Now, the first, they need to get offensive line. The offensive line was so bad that you got Daniel Jones a torn ACL as well as a sprained neck this year. So I'm just like, these reporters, these common sense, it's true, it's gone. How could you ask him that?
I mean, again, it got people talking, so that's probably what the thought process was. Like, it's gonna get people to talk.
Yeah, fine.
So
good for you. Yeah, thumbs up. Buzz, you got me to do it. But what an idiotic question.
Because the question is essentially, should they replace you? Like, you know what I mean? So that's a dumb question to ask someone. The answer is going to be no. Even if the right answer is yes, the person's not going to say that. So yeah, I agree. It was a silly question, but I think it was probably just to get buzz.
Why is it he's getting $40 million no matter what, right?
Yeah, if he plays, I suppose. Yeah.
If some guy reported, be like, "Do you think it's time to replace you?" I'm gonna be like, "Sure, I still get paid my $40 million, right?" And he's like, "Yeah, all right." I sit on the bench. Yeah,
people want to play. I think people underestimate how these athletes want to play.
He's trash.
Game.
He's trash.
Not trash.
Daniel
Jones has had the bad end of the stick, and he has proven that if he's protected, that he actually has a pretty good arm, and he is a comparable franchise quarterback.
How many seasons have he played? How many seasons has he?
How many full seasons? He was drafted in 2018. He's had 5 seasons. Only one of those seasons he played a full season. He was always injured because he has a line playing for his life.
Thank you. So guess what? He is trash. 5 seasons, 1 season full.
Because he's had a trash offensive line and 3 different head coaches through 3 different offensive systems.
I get it.
You try to stay in that loss at the line, and he's still here, and he got the fat contract.
Listen, he did.
And if he sucks, then they can literally remove him next year, and I'd be perfectly fine with me.
I feel like for $40 million, they're gonna play. They're not going to let him sit the bench for $40 million.
No, they're going to do the same thing. Look at Wilson, for God's sake.
He won
in Denver.
A playoff game last year against a team where he was the underdog, and he won. He stepped up. All I'm saying, I do think he's proven under pressure, under the right circumstances, that he can prevail. He's also never had he's also had trash wide receivers.
Can I ask you a question? Too.
Yes.
Tim Tebow, when he played in Denver, was he trash?
Tim Tebow was a college Hall of Famer.
That's not my question.
I'm answering your question. I'm answering your question. He was one of the best college football players ever, and he was not a good pro. And he's won a playoff game, yes, and he did get that play to Demaryius Thomas.
Okay. So Tim Tebow was still trash, though, right?
But he was never, from the start, he wasn't the franchise quarterback.
You can't give it to me. You can't.
I said that he was a trash professional.
So it's okay to win.
But he was also never had Daniel Jones. Let me say this: Daniel Jones is a better professional quarterback than Tim Tebow was at both their peaks.
I'm not disagreeing with you, but that's not hard. A lot of people can be better than Tim Tebow in the quarterback position.
Zach Wilson
in professional.
Zach, what I'm saying. My point is this: just because 5 seasons, 1 full season, you can blame the offensive line all you want. But he's still trash.
Well, I disagree. I think
it's time to
as
move
long
on.
as the plan's the line, he's good. Fine. I said, and I wouldn't be heartbroken if they did move on from him.
You know what
I'm saying? When things right with especially a head coach who is known to turn quarterbacks around, Daniel Jones is a solid option.
Yeah, I think he should play next year with that contract and the team they're looking to build. I agree.
Giants should go trade for Justin Fields and call it a day. That's what they should be doing.
Maybe.
I don't know. Justin Fields. Yeah.
It depends. I don't know what offense they're doing and if Kafka's coming back. They're having a mess with their coaches right now. But regardless, this is more about the reporter asking the dumb question. But Daniel Jones upsets everybody who I talk to. Daniel Jones, his whole career has been a mat.
Well, to that report. Well, to that reporter, thank you for asking the hard-hitting questions.
Ooh.
Anyway.
Wow. Jose's going for big business and the mainstream media.
Well, like I said to this guy, glad I don't know his name. Anyways, let's now go with our questions, though. And let's talk about advice and things. But for Ryan, Jinder Mahal, he was trending this week.
It was.
Why should we give a shit about the very worst WWE champion of all time?
First of all, very worst, subjective. I don't necessarily think I disagree with that subjective stance, but it's a subjective stance. That's number one.
Can I say one thing? The guy from Wrestle Talk and What Culture.
Yep.
Again, very mixed feelings on that guy.
Yeah.
But it was just so funny when he said, The very worst thing to happen to the WWE Championship is Jinder Mahal winning in its 70 plus year history. The very worst thing WWE did was put
See,
that belt on.
that's a lie. I
actually do agree that there are worse things that have happened to the belt besides Jinder. Look, this is all because Tony Khan shouldnly be tweeting, and everyone's getting really mad. I was in part of this discourse briefly, and I stopped because I didn't want to be part of it anymore. People were like, "It's everyone's too soft in the Attitude Era." No, it wouldn't have been. Vince McMahon, even in the Attitude Era, would not have been tweeting about WCW. Want to know why? Because he was winning. Would Eric Bischoff have been tweeting, even though he was telling Tony Khan to stop last night? Absolutely. The loser is absolutely going to big dog or try and big dog when they're the little guy. But Tony Khan tweeted, and it kind of came across like a shot at Jinder. I don't think that was the intent, in fairness to Tony Khan. But you own a wrestling, company. Just shush. Don't tweet. Tweet out when your show's coming on. Tweet out big events. Tweet out links to ticket sales. There's a lot you can tweet out about your wrestling show if you own a wrestling promotion. About the opposing wrestling show is not one of the things you should be tweeting about. Also, he was complaining about something that wasn't true. For those who don't know about AEW, they have a match. He was saying people are down on it. I'm excited for it. I don't know anyone who's down on it. I think it'll be a good match. So
what match is this?
Hook and Samoa Joe. They're building to a title match between Hook and Samoa Joe, and I think that's fine. I don't think Hook will win, but that's okay. I don't think Jinder Mahal is going to win either.
Jesus Christ!
But yeah. So the whole thing is silly, but it did reignite a love of Jinder Mahal to the point that he was trending number 2, not in sports, in the United States. In the whole of the United States, Jinder was trending number 2. He also came back to Twitter after being off it for 8 months just to tweet at Tony Khan. And then he left again, which is really funny too. So a lot of people are going to watch next Monday, which is literally the opposite of what Tony Khan probably wanted. And that's what he gets for promoting his opponent instead of his own stuff. There you
go.
I mean...
Oh, sorry. You continue?
No, go ahead, Matt.
No. We'll move on after you say this.
I have no problems with Jinder Mahal fighting for the world title at all. He's tried. I mean, I would have more of an issue if it was the main event for Royal Rumble or some crap. It's freaking Monday Night Raw. Yeah, who cares?
Well, when he wins.
Oh, you need to stop that.
Get that song bumping. He got his old song back, too. He's ready.
Whatever happened to the 2 Indian dudes he was with?
They're no more. I think they got released, yeah.
And plus, he got the rub from The Rock last week.
Yeah, well, that's how he did it. He showed up, talked to The Rock, and now he's a number 1 contender.
No, that's how you do it in life. Go ahead. All right, go ahead.
Don't hit your gender.
I think we should mention this before the story gets too late. We'll do this then just one question, but the Stephen A. Smith versus Jason Whitlock feud, right? It has turned. All right, let's circle back. Stephen A. released a memoir earlier this year, right? He became a New York Times bestseller. This book was called Straight Shooter, a memoir of second chances and first takes. Jason Whitlock, former ESPN employee, a colleague of Stephen A., he went on his platform and he went at Stephen A. for some reason, basically saying some of the stuff in his book is made up. He said, quote, "These stories are being told by someone who doesn't have a fundamental understanding of sports." That's what Whitlock said about Smith. And he continued saying, how did he get this job at ESPN, right? So Stephen A. did not find that very nice. Stephen A. was very upset, and he just took shots straight away. And he went on and he called him a fat bastard. He went on his podcast, and eviscerated him pretty much, and saying quotes like, "You betrayed me. Did you tell him that, you bitch?" And he also referred to him as a piece of shit. And he also said that he went to his pastor, his family, ESPN, to apologize in advance for what he's saying. It's getting pretty ugly. This also stems, it seems, from some Max Kellerman stuff where Stephen A was very vocal about not wanting to work with Max Kellerman and straight up not liking him. And Jason Whitlock seemed to not be too kind to that. And it's turning into, we go from one feud to start the show to another now. Jimmy Kimmel versus Aaron Rodgers and Jason Whitlock versus Stephen A. And some of these quotes from the podcast are coming out. Man, some stuff, guys. Whose side are you on, Stephen A. or Jason Whitlock?
What do you think, Jose? Or do you want me to jump in?
I mean, you can go first. I'll let you go first.
Okay. Well, I will say, I watched some things on this, and Stephen A. 100% lied about his college basketball record. He said he played one game and he had 1.5 points. That's not possible. And then he said, I didn't get any points because I didn't play any games. But on TV, they said he had 1.5 points. So he 100% lied about that. But, I mean, to answer Jason Whitlock's fundamental question, how did Stephen A. get this job? He got the job by, being a charismatic sports writer who impressed a lot of people at ESPN. Done. There's no gatekeeping. Whoever's going to do the best for ratings, that's who they're going to hire. They said Stephen A's got the gift of the gab. He's going to be able to get us the ratings that we need. And they put him in a position to do that. You don't have to have a weird, Goodwill Hunting sports statistics.
By the way, I have an immediate response from Jason Whitlock to some of these words.
And Jason to me. I'm like, oh.
No, he just tweeted.
Well,
Jason Whitlock, he just tweeted, could you imagine being a journalist covering the sports media and the highest profile guy at ESPN writes a book full of fabrications and exaggerations, and you're too afraid to address the fact that that the guy spent an hour cussing and name calling and never addressing any of these obvious questions about the truth in his memoir? Get off your knees at Andrew Marchand. So he is a reporter for the New York Post.
What is this obsession? We've talked about it now 4 times on this episode with the freaking this truth. You must hear it. Stop it. Read the book. Don't read the book. Who cares? To answer Jason's original question, if you're asking me, and he's not because he doesn't know me, he was the more charismatic person of all the people there. And so they gave him a TV show to be charismatic on, and then he did. And it got good ratings, so they kept giving him more TV shows. That's how he got this job. That's the only qualification you need to be in television.
Oh, yeah.
To get ratings.
Yeah, but
you don't have to know a lick about nothing. You don't have to know a lick about nothing to have a TV show, to have a radio show, to have a podcast. That's the secret. Just have to be entertaining so people keep watching or listening. So that's how he did it, Jason. Who cares if he lied? It's a book. Burn it. Don't buy it. This is stupid. We're doing this. We're doing this in every facet of our society now. We're like we're going to try and browbeat people into authenticity. Who cares? Let him do what he wants. Goodness gracious.
Well, to add some context, didn't Whitlock, that's his last name, right? Whatever his name is. Didn't he get let go from ESPN because of the Stephen A. Smith deal?
I'm not. I can quickly do some research. I'm not sure why he was let go.
Yeah, I don't think it was.
I think he was, but he was let go like Steve Bashard. All of them went to Fox News. They all left because of something with money, and I think it was with Stephen A.
Whitlock is the one who didn't understand why he was getting targeted ads for. Inappropriate.
Exactly.
I know who Jason Whitlock is, and so is what it is. I'm just saying we got to stop forcing our version of authenticity on everyone we meet because it's really annoying.
He seems like a crazy guy. He released a 2-hour video questioning if Michelle Obama was a transgender last year.
It's insane. I'm just asking questions. This is those actually people, those technically people that Matt has decided to jump headfirst into because Pat McAfee is one of them now. No offense.
The whataboutism?
The whataboutism is insane. Don't read the book. Just don't read it. And then you never have to worry about it. I know very little about the Looney Tunes on social media. You know why? Because unless Matt says we're talking about these people, I don't follow them. I just don't read what they write. I don't listen to what they have to say because I don't want to. I find it annoying. I find it displeasurable. And so I avoid it. It's so easy to do nowadays. You avoid things you don't like, you find things you do like, and you're just happier. It's insane that he tweeted that. I'm mad that you said that because I was going to be level-headed about this until I heard his response, which was absolute nonsense. And it's the same thing we've heard every person who's been wrong this week say in the sports world. So that's crazy that they all have the same PR person over in Sportland, where when you're wrong and you're trying to be an adult, you have the same response to attack everyone in the larger organizations because that's what gets the Twitter masses all fired up.
When you put it that way.
Hey, tell me, stop me when I'm lying, Matt.
No, I got nothing to stop you for right now. And it's just been quite the week. How about that? It's sports. Oh man, and there hasn't been a lot of games. I mean, regular season, but what we'll see how this all unfolds. I think it was important we hit that because this will probably take over the next couple of days when we're not on the air. So let's see if we're still talking about it next week. Should be fun.
I hope not.
But I think that's enough time for today. Ryan and Jose killed it as always. And we will see you a week from today back in our regularly Friday drop. So see you then.
See you then.
See ya.